name is Michelle Hayward. I'm an associate broker, realtor, and property manager for Legacy Realty and Management. I want to welcome you to Atlanta's Realtor. And what we're going to do on this channel is educate you on the home buying process or selling a home, or any questions that you may have. Please feel free to post it, what you would like to see discussed on this channel. Thank you for watching. Hi Daria, I want to first thank you for allowing me to come in and interview you today, because as a realtor I do have a lot of sellers who have questions about their rights and property divorce situation. So hopefully you can shed some light on some of the questions that I've come across. So what are some of the common issues that you see when real estate assets are involved in a divorce?
I think the biggest issue when we're talking about the sale of a marital residence, for example, is what is premarital and what is considered marital property. A lot of times people come into a marriage with property that was owned prior to the marriage. So that is something that has to be addressed throughout the divorce process, and that can get sticky depending on the situations. But defining what is premarital as it relates to contributions to a marital residence is a huge issue.
Okay, and so do you have some suggestions that may help our sellers make the sale of real estate during the process as smooth as possible?
Sure. I think the biggest piece of advice would be, if you're going to list the marital residence for sale as part of the divorce, is that you list out with specificity all of the terms of the sale to avoid conflict down the road. So for example, we have settlement agreements where people have identified by name a particular realtor, such as yourself, to avoid fighting over with who is going to control the sale or be the realtor for the sale. I would list out an agreed upon value of the home. Things, terms like that come across or that are issues throughout the divorce process need to be identified. Every detail, such as who's going to stay in the home, who's going to control the sale of the home. Oftentimes in a divorce situation, one of the spouses of the home come back in the home. All of those types of things come into play when we're talking about selling a marital residence. So I would list all of that in any kind of divorce agreement that you read.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Does Georgia recognize community property?
In Georgia, we call it marital property, and marital property can be divided by a judge in Superior Court, depending on which county you live in. And marital property is defined as anything purchased during the marriage. So, for example, a home, a car, even a television. If it was acquired during the marriage, the court will consider that marital property, and thus it is subject to division.
Okay, and then what are some of the most common mistakes that people need to avoid during the process?
I think the biggest thing that I could advise people going through the divorce is don't lose sight of the big picture. A lot of times with divorce, if they're children, people lose sight of what's in their best interest. So when we're talking about the sale of a home, for example, if the children are having a hard time with the divorce, you may want to put in your agreement that we're not going to sell the home until the end of the school year, for example. So remember the big picture and maybe the trickle-down effects. If there are no children, again, think about the big picture. Is it going to cost you more in attorney's fees, for example, to fight over a bedroom set than it would be to maybe sign that over in the divorce, or the net proceeds, or how we're going to divide those? People sometimes often spend more money fighting over things than what they're actually worth. So always try to remember the big picture and what's going to be best for you.
Well, you know, you certainly brought out some very good points, and I'm sure it's going to spark more questions from our viewers. So if you would please let them know how they can contact you, maybe for a consultation, or if they have any questions.
I can be reached at the Wise Law Firm. My firm phone number is 404-973-9308, or you can email me directly at wise@wiselawfirm.com, and I offer a 1-hour free consultation, and I'm happy to help.
I would like to thank you viewers for tuning in today to today's episode of Atlanta's Realtor. And we do know that divorce is a tedious process, and hopefully we were able to help answer some of those tough questions for you today. So until next time, I'm Michelle Hayward, Atlanta's Realtor.